Hello, everybody, and welcome to DM Writer's Room, a show where we demystify the DMing process by coming up with monsters, magic items, and all kinds of things live. Today, we are delving into something that we have not done in a while. We've not done it in a while, and I'm excited to see where it goes. We are going to be working on making a module, coming up with an idea for a module. This is most similar to coming up with an idea for a campaign with a little bit more specificity. So, when you're coming up with a campaign, maybe you just sort of gesture towards your villain and you know that you can kind of fill in with some character backstories. When you're trying to think about a module, something that you can prep and run for like lots of different groups, you're more focused in on like a nice, well-constructed plot that they can work their way through without feeling like they're wasting time. And maybe try to leave some space for some throw-ins of, backstory and whatnot if you can. There's not much. It's difficult to do. I can only think of a few examples. Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, does just a dash of this, where players can come up with their own secrets, or they can choose them out of the book. So it's just like a dusting of it. Most modules by design can't. So you kind of have to pick if you're going to try to bend or not. My usual recommendation, and I know it's Spencer's because he does it too, is when you run a module and occasionally cut a chapter you don't like out and put someone's backstory there is usually a pretty good way to do it. Notably,
they all die.
Spencer's Curse of Strahd campaign, which is not recorded anywhere you can watch, but rather historical among our group, was maybe painted with the same brushes that painted Curse of Strahd, but was quite tangential in its relation. Which
the
is really
names
funny,
were there
because only he and I knew that, because we've run Curse of Strahd once before then, and everybody else was like, Curse of Strahd is crazy, and I was like, yeah, this is Curse of Strahd for
it's
sure.
Curse of Strahd that's crazy, and
yeah,
not me
it's
and my
Curse of
first
Strahd
time
that's
DMing.
a little that we're yeah, for sure. All right, so we're working
This
on
isn't the Strahd, it's his younger brother Strahd.
It's Strahd
exactly.
Junior. Strahd
It's
the younger.
Strahd.
It's Strahd with two H's. I like that. That's good. So, sorry, Strahd the Strahd is actually what
Ooh,
we're doing
interesting.
today now, and I am going to need everybody to
High
scrap
concept.
whatever ideas you have. So, we want to work on a module. You got a couple of different angles of approach you can take. You can either try to make it happen somewhere interesting. You can be focused on sort of the setting and let that guide the other things that you do. My two big examples there would be Wild Beyond the Witchlight and Icewind Dale. They're both really interested in exploring a particular environment or plane of existence and how that changes an adventure. Second is to kind of highlight a threat or problem of the world. For this one, obviously, I'm thinking of Storm King's Thunder. Some others loosely coming to mind. Out of the Abyss, right? So let's explore demons, let's explore giants, and then finally, at least as far as I'm concerned, is big monster. This is your Curse of Strahd. This is the classic. There's a big monster. This is Tyranny of Dragons with Tiamat. It's like, yeah, there's a big monster. Go deal with the big monster. And that's pretty much what you're getting into. And then the last one, I guess, but it's not super relevant to us, the last kind of module is instructional. This is the Lost Mines of Phandelver. This is Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. It's go to the place, fight some small enemies, fight some medium enemies, fight a big enemy, go home. It's very kind of like right up the middle. So I guess my question would be, if we wanna, does anybody have an idea they're really into, or one of those angles we want to take if we don't want to just start throwing out ideas? Would you rather be really big bad focused, kind of area environment vibe focused, or threat problem style of monster stat block that you're really interested in delving into? Do we have a preference here?
I've got one, and it is, in retrospect, sort of a Bloodborne inspired idea. It's more Plague inspired than anything.
Sure.
But it's that the world you're in has been infected by a terrible disease of some sort. That could be something that makes monsters out of people. It could be something that's just wiping out huge swaths of folk. And so you are stuck in that place, dealing with the problem that is a world beset by illness.
By thing.
Yeah.
some spreading malcontention. Could be a curse, could be an illness, could be turning people to beasts, could be all kinds of things. So you like this idea of, number one, I can already tell you what I think Spencer likes about this idea. We've been doing this show for a long time. This is a show where we try to give you little hints and tricks at DMing and things. Spencer has selected a threat that if you run away from, it will eventually catch up to you.
There's no running.
So it's best to handle it now. This is a very good device to make sure that your players don't frustrate you by refusing to participate. Granted, if you have a group like that, just do homebrew. Like, just let them pick whatever dumb shit they want to do. That's my real advice. But I like that. So we're sort of locking them in location, not with a physical boundary, but by saying, this thing is spreading exponentially. It's not crossing towns, it's crossing miles every day. You know what I mean? So somebody's got to do something. I like that. It's kind of the the Mummy. Brendan Fraser is the Mummy. It's like, you can't run away because the fucking mummy's loose, dude. The 10 plagues of Egypt are gonna consume the world. Come on now.
You see the big sandstorm with the mummy face on it, right? Like, it's right there.
So we like this idea of the kind of creeping. Oh, my pen's not working. There we go.
Your idea is close to mine.
Of the kind of creeping threat. Michael, what were you going to say then? I don't have an idea. We're just spitballing. We're getting those first ideas.
My idea is it involves the star spawns. The
careful
aberration.
using non-SR DIPs. Aberrations I like. Star spawn, I've never heard of him.
Yes. So aberrations, cosmic horror, those kinds of monsters. Their realms kind of mixed with ours, I say ours. Cosmic horror has meshed with fantasy, and there's a big bad that caused it.
All right, so Michael likes aberration, and something that I'm gonna write with a little dash. James, students are discussing and writing. The corruption is caused by the improper use of magic. Every time magic is used without the proper runes, rituals, components, you can run the risk of corruption. Oops, gotta get back. Love your content. James, love that comment. The idea that the magic is sort of spreading this. I'm gonna write with a little dash because I think it's great. I'm gonna write genre corruption.
Okay.
I like the idea that there's like an encroaching genre. I think that's really fun. You said that very casually. Like, you're like, it's like a horror movie. It's like cosmic horror is creeping into a fantasy adventure. I really like the mental image that evokes in me is really fun, of the way that it breaks the rules. The thought that like death being so casual is something that fantasy kind of glosses over, but it's something that cosmic horror is very into the nitty gritty of. So it's very fun to imagine a campaign where it's like where paladins and knights and wizards are like, I'm not going fucking anywhere near that, brother. I'm not going anywhere near that. What? That shit's nuts. Some guy got sick in there and he slept for 8 hours and the sickness didn't go away. I'm not going anywhere near that.
I've never seen that before.
Everyone knows an 8-hour nap fixes all human problems. I'm not going in there. I think that's... we don't need to get that literal, but I love the image of that. Okay, so we like this. Spencer likes the creeping threat. Really easy to just say it's an aberrant threat. It is a threat of the far realms, right? I think that's great. And I like the idea that there's this sort of horror bent. Now, if this was just the three of us, and we never wanted, and we weren't concerned with our advice being usable, I would unironically make Call of Cthulhu stat blocks for everybody. And any time they passed into the corruption zone, I'd be like, give me your D&D character sheets. Here are your Call of Cthulhu character sheets. It's bad here. Don't come, or no, or maybe Morkborg sheets. Hand out Morkborg sheets and be like, hey, it sucks in the corrupted zone.
It would be so funny to make for like Drive Through RPG or Itch, to make like fusion games where that's always how it works. D&D into Morkborg. Cool. Basically anything into Lancer when you go into the mech combat rules. It's like, yeah, we just made a game that's 2 games. So have fun with that.
An adventure called Monster of the Borg, where you start by playing Monster of the Week, and occasionally you shift into Morkborg for sections and then come back.
Yeah, and you
it's
just
really
flip
good.
your paper over, and there it could be cool if there was like a point where it's you're using both at the same time. You fold the paper over in a certain way. It's like you get your abilities from here, but your stats from here.
A while ago, Spencer pitched, and I think we did some of the creation on stream for Tales in the Dark, a monster hunting powered by
Yes.
the dark, forged in the dark monster hunting game. And the thought, it didn't really occur to me that character sheet 1 is the front of your sheet, and when you flip it, it's the other characters. Very good, very good. I'm very into that. That's really powerful.
I miss Tales in the Dark.
We got listen. This is the problem with running DM Writers Room for 200 episodes, dude. I have a backlog of everything
Yes,
we
indeed.
haven't converted, and I've got terrible news. And it's a stack of 85 note. It's that note card stack with a giant binder clip around it. It's like 85
98%
things.
of what we've done. Yeah.
It's wild.
Uh,
All right, so we have this creeping threat. We like the idea that it's kind of aberration based. So what does aberration mean? Aberration means it is beyond reality. It is outside of the average interactions that people have. Mind flayers are aberrations. They are hovering, brain-eating, psychic creatures that can only speak by giving themselves a tentacle tongue. It's beholders, flying megalomaniacal creatures that make layers with their disintegrating eye beams. It's things like that. It's these real outsider, beyonder kind of threats. So,
Like,
go ahead.
I know mind flayers aren't part of aberrations. It feels like
They are.
should be.
They are.
They are?
Yeah,
Oh,
mind flayers
okay.
and aberration.
Okay, fair
and-
enough.
Yeah, they are. They're like the big, the capital A aberration is them and their elder brains. So, if we're taking a look at this, I'll say the disease thing introduces a mechanic that has been popular in earlier editions, that is less popular now, which is like persistent staged illnesses. Is a, like, if memory serves, I could be wrong, I'm open to being corrected, but I'm almost positive I'm right, is a like 3rd edition / Pathfinder 1e thing where you can have
which is where some of the idea came from. For those who don't know, I am playing in a Pathfinder 1e game right now, and it is like tracking faction growth and stuff, and I thought tracking plague would be fun.
and
cool.
in Pathfinder they have a system where an illness can basically like proc once after a minute, and then again after a few days, and then again after a few weeks, and it gets worse and worse and worse as you fail the concurrent checks. And whenever you finally succeed, you don't go to 0, you step back 1. And you keep having to try to slowly fight your way back to not being ill anymore. Now that's...
Question. I know in previous D&D there was this, I don't know if it still is, lycanthropy and vampirism. Is there still a mechanic for that?
For getting lycanthropy, yes. I think for getting vampirism, there isn't... It's not like part of the monster stat block, but it can be done. A piece of material that is in Curse of Strahd and many other places is a vampire is just almost never going to make you into a full vampire, because then you are a threat to them. They're probably just going to make you a spawn, and then you're just going to be running around real hungry. Because they have very little incentive to make you an actual vampire. You're more useful to them as a spawn that is sort of under their thrall. Asterion is a thrall in Baldur's Gate 3. And so the only reason he has control over his own will is because of the tadpole in Baldur's Gate 3. So that's option number 1, right? It's like a disease. It's something that's killing people. It's some, like, I always think of the disease that make deer rot while they're still alive. This is a thing.
Yeah.
Deer will just begin to decompose, and it's wasting disease. Pretty gnarly stuff. There's a couple of other options. The next one I see is it turns people into monsters. There's a lot of fun to be had there. There's a lot of back and forth. It saves us a little bit from having to have a bunch of humanoid enemies that it's like... It saves us moral ambiguity by being like, no, that's like... They got transformed by the Zibriax plague, and now they're Zibriaxian monsters, and like there's nothing we can do about that. They feed on life or whatever. And then option 3, I guess, would be a more terraforming. It's not that they're turning people into monsters. It's not that they're doing anything to the people. Our world is becoming their world, and we are not meant to live on their world, right? That's the sort of third option. Do we
I
have
think if we're phasing illness, which I do think we should do, I think that if you survive past, phase 2, you become a monster. So surviving past phase 2 would require a certain amount of constitution or whatever in game terms. So that way, not everybody becomes a monster. Probably the vast majority of people just die. But if you survive to that point, it is lycanthropic in nature and you become a creature.
Small thing we need to solve for early is that it's so easy to get rid of a disease in D&D. It's a walk in the park to get rid of a disease. Now, we can either just say getting rid of the disease won't really be a problem for the players because we know they'll be able to reliably do it unless their party comp is completely fucked. And it's just, yeah, great. The town has 210 people in it.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
You
cure
got
the
4 spell
disease.
slots.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, you've got 4 health spots and you've got, 5 points of lay on hands. Good luck, guys. I hope it works out. I think that's the other solution. So do we want to try to, wrench together some shenanigans where this is a disease that cannot be cured by simple spells? Or is it, no, the party's fine, and the king is fine, and the people who know the court wizard are fine. The other 150 town people are all slowly dying. Are you just chill with that?
Yeah. I think that we can have the party be chill. Like, they aren't going to be really worried about the disease past like level 3. Before that, maybe there's some fear, but at that point, it doesn't matter.
So,
and the real issue is it's spreading fast enough that there's not enough clerics in the area to fix the problem.
That was my other question. What level is this module supposed to be at?
I'm not super attached to figuring that out super early. I think that we can sort of figure out the scale and then do the level, because that is how a lot of it works. Is you save a town in tier, you save a town in tier 1, you save an area in tier 2, you save a city in tier 3, you save the world in tier 4. Or the world in tier 3 and the multiverse in tier 4 if your DM likes anime. That's how that's going to happen instead. That's very important to note. Okay, so now we're trying to decide this aberrant illness. So my big thing, number 1, I want this to feel like it is an aberration, right? Means outside the bounds of reality. So I don't think it can be like you get the sniffles. I don't think it's going to be normal flu-like symptoms. I think we need
That'd be so funny, though.
We need to immediately depart to get that. It would be funny if we weren't playing Dungeons and Dragons. If we were doing Monster of the Week, the thought of there being a monster whose terrible curse is it gives you influenza is really good.
You have IBS!
Yeah, it gives you mundane but terrible illnesses is very funny. So what are some things that I'm going to set a ground rule because I think it's very funny. We're going to make an aberration-themed illness with aberration-themed stages. We are not allowed to give anyone a tentacle.
No,
I'm banning giving people tentacles right now. We're not doing it. It's hack. It's too easy. So when you guys think about an illness that is immediately, outsider, what comes to mind? Like, what immediately pops into your head? I have one that I don't think we should do, but I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall. The first image I got when I thought of the kind of illness you would catch in the far realm from an aberration, I got somebody being like photo inverted to a negative. I don't know why.
That's really fun.
But it just immediately popped into my head of the thought of somebody being like full color inverted, but like on the perfect way where it's bad to look at because it makes the middle of their body dark and the outside's bright in a weird way.
Very purple in tone. I was picturing goopification. You turn to a big puddle of goop at the bad part of this, brother. You get gooped.
Do you like the idea? Go ahead.
The idea that I had, it'd be like early sign. You get a halo of eyes.
Oh, just start to like open in the sky around you. It's really interesting because you're really trying to lean in this very sort of particular direction. I would say the most mundane one I could see, I know it's a real thing that can happen from disease, but it strikes me as very aberrant, very strange, very outside, is when people's eyes bleed.
Yeah.
Marcus said if you were transported into the world of D&D, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, and or all fantasy games and had to make your perfect characters yourself, what would you choose? Race, class, multi-class, prestige, anything, etc. Now, you said perfect characters yourself. Am I making the, like, I can see, I can fight version of myself? Or do you just mean, like, what do you think I am? Because unfortunately, my terrible answer is that I'm a commoner with 4 hit points who dies in the opening of the adventure. If I was to give myself the I can see, I can fight treatment, I would love to be a wizard. I think that would bang. I just love, because like I like to learn. And if you got magic powers, learning would be a lot fucking easier. It'd be much easier to convince yourself every morning to read some pages if you get a fireball.
Set up those chapters.
And then I think everybody I know would have multi-class 1 like shitty level of fighter, just because you did sports in high school, and so it's like I can move my body. Spencer, what do you think?
I think I'd have to go sorcerer, because I don't trust myself that I would read enough books, even in Magic World, to do the work.
You'd rather have to make the wild magic saves. You're like, yeah, that's fine.
Because wild magic is badass as hell. Like, it can be really dangerous and scary and bad, but it's super cool. So I would do sorcerer. I love nepotism. Michael?
Fine enough. I'm thinking of the personification of what I would be, and it fits and it doesn't fit. I think cleric. I'm not a religious standpoint, but from like I'm healthcare through and through. I heal.
Oh, I see. Sort of.
That's what I do
based.
for and like a subclass of barbarian probably.
Can I be for real? If I was in a fantasy world and the existence of God was so obviously real, I would probably also be a cleric.
Yeah,
like, I would really
guess.
be putting in the work
The
to go to
healing
good,
powers come
cool
in
heaven.
clutch.
Yeah.
I do want to say another thing I just want to say is true is, and this is unfortunate, but the two of you have been trained on how to fight another man, and I have not. I think if we were to assign CRs around the table, I think I am challenge rating 0, and that Spencer and Michael are challenge rating 1A. I think that has to be true. I think Spencer CR 1/4 if he has a gun. Like,
I'm an artificer.
That's the only extra step he gets. Oh my god. That was fun. All right, let's getting back into it then. So
Very fun.
we're talking about what we're trying to make a module that's about like a spreading aberration, illness, or corruption. And we're trying to figure out what an aberration's illness would do to you. And we're immediately off to the races, talking about like eyes in the sky opening and up near us and things like that. Another thing I got is it suddenly looks like your body is being illuminated by like another planet's sun. Is one that I love the image of that, where it's not that your skin is colored or pigmented in any way, but like the light's not coming from the same direction on you, and it's got a little bit of a different
shadow.
color.
Yeah. A second
Wrong way
shadow.
always goes down good. Because if we're talking like level 1 adventure, the first indicator of stuff going bad being that guy's shadow's going the wrong way is pretty badass.
So do we want is symptom 1 wrong way shadow?
Symptom 1 wrong way shadow, symptom 2 inverted coloration is pretty sick.
Number
We
1
can do some fun stuff with the shadows being monsters too, a little bit.
So for number 1,
those are the original creatures. Sorry to cut you off. If the shadows are the things you're fighting at first, and then after that phase, it's the people.
Oh, the thought
pretty
that
cool.
the shadow it is the shadow. Like you are just fighting the after image, the Wile E. Coyote cutout is the first thing you fight is really fun. So first one I've written is lit by an alien sun.
Yes.
And then, so what do we want to do for number 2? Do you get swallowed up by your shadow and you are like a Vanta Black hole in reality? Or do you get a halo of eyes? Or what do we think stage 2 is after you are lit by an alien sun?
I think Vanta Black, hole in reality.
And what I like about that is you can still talk and eat and pick things up. And I think that's really creepy in a way that I'm very into, is speaking to somebody who is so completely taken that, like, they don't have depth anymore. Like, as you move around them, they always look kind of two-dimensional, I think is really fun.
Yeah.
And the thought that you'll have these, like, bad guy cultists that you have, you know, like, disadvantage on ranged attacks against because you can't tell if they're coming towards you or away from you because they don't have depth, I think is really fun. Okay, so then what happens? So your stage 1, your shadow is like going off in the wrong direction. Slowly it begins to creep up your ankles until eventually you go to sleep one night, and if you fail your con save that night, you wake up the next day consumed by it. Do you have a shadow too, or are you just a hole in reality now?
I think you don't have a shadow anymore.
That would look, just think about how that would look. This like no shadow, just gap in reality in front of you. That would suck. So then what? So is this where all is lost? Is the next thing that happens your shadow is torn asunder as something forces its way through your body and you get like reverse chest bursted? Or does your shadow start to change into like the aberrant form that is going to pass through? Is there another
I could
stage?
see it being like a cocoon, like the shadow's cocoon.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Shadow People as Portal-esque, and that things would emerge from them, and then that form is gone. You know?
Oh,
the
and
thing
if that,
bursts forth.
I have to say, it's dark, but if that kills the subject, that's great. If they, like, tear the portal open as they come through, and then it just, and then not even a body, the portal just, it just closes behind them, that's grim in a way that I'm kind of into.
Yeah, it takes the ethics away, because some people are like, they were a person. It's not that anymore. That's the.
It's not even them. It's whatever used their life force to get through.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it completely removes the ethics question.
And there's already a faction brewing in my mind that's like, as soon as somebody turns Vanta Black, we kill them. And that sucks because the Vanta Black people are like, it's still me, Frederick, please. And then they get cut down by that faction because some Hellspawn will jump forth.
Yeah, some of them think it's a necessary sacrifice. Others are like, that's not them, it's a trick. Like, there's kind of another angle of it from a lot of people. I think that's interesting. So do we want there to only be 3 stages and we just assume the party can maintain their own healing? Or is the timetable long? So I think if the timetable's short...
long.
There we go. All right, great. I was going to say, if the timetable's short, if we want this to be kind of thing that can happen to an NPC and we urgently need to solve it, then I think we need we need something that's less bad than being torn in half as a living portal. We need to find some middle ground. If not, and this just takes a week, and we're never really going to have the scene where it's like, they got the Smith's son, he's got him, and they need to like go like find a gem or whatever the fuck in 2 days. If we're just not going to do that, I think that's fine. And we say what? It takes like a day, a week, a month. Can't be a month, but...
I think it would be like a week between phases on average.
From Twitch chat, Blockwork Orange says hello. He's got a quick question for us.
Sorry, incredible name. I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael. Go ahead.
You're good. They said a quick question for you. So you are good to go. And I'll ask that question when they get to us.
Absolutely.
All right. So it's about you get lit by an alien sun, a week passes, and then you are a Vanta Black depthless hole in reality, and then a week passes, and then and then people just see hands like grab at the edges, and your silhouette bends like a coat hanger and tears in half as this thing comes through, and you are off to the astral sea. You've been rent asunder. It's as if you were torn in half, like from the middle, in front of somebody. I think that's all really good. Is there like damage at each stage, or is it just if you go all the way you die? Like,
I can see it's changing stats a little bit.
Yeah, I think that it needs to have more of a visceral element to it between the phases, so some sort of damage or loss of stat, or it makes you feel miserably ill in some way. So that way it's not just good, dead.
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly the right vibe.
I have an idea, but I saw Michael giggle, which tells me he may have a question from Twitch chat for us.
Yes. So Glockwork Orange said, "Do any of us know anything about metal minifigures from D&D?" I giggled because we were literally just talking about minifigures.
Don't get their hopes up. The answer is no. We were talking about minis. This is the first mini I've ever bought. I just got it for a Pathfinder game that I'm playing in.
So tune in like 2 or 3 years, and Spencer's
then we
gonna
got
be
all-
so
it's
much.
gonna be it.
Yeah, they said that they bought a bag of them for $5 today from 1978 to 1986.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a steal, I'd say. Said there's 2 company names he can read on them. Alpratha and Grenader.
Grenader.
So
Sure.
Grenader sounds like, I can just tell you, a lot of them are probably war game miniatures, especially if they're like if they're like early 70s. So it being called Grenader or Grenadier makes a lot of sense, because a lot of really popular campaign games that are very early in that history, in like the 50s and 60s, are Napoleonic campaign games where it's like cannoneers, and that kind of continues to develop, including there's a really funny example. One of the first examples of a game where you were supposed to role play in the rules is a game where you played a World War II ace pilot, and it encouraged the players to role play in this war game as their pilot during their scenes. So you're definitely kind of in the depths of history there. Unfortunately, as far as painting goes, I know you're supposed to water your paint down. I've heard that advice said about 1,000 times, so do that. And that's kind of what I've got. I don't know, man. I think you've got it in you, though. I look forward to your new obsession continuing to come up.
He did say he's able to figure out one of them. It's a Mind Flayer from first issue. He says going for about $35.
Yeah, when they have those like back when they had like the big bulb heads, they looked really like a squid in those earlier
Mind
ones.
Flayer's sick.
They looked
very, very cool.
The originals were inspired by the Flash Gordon enemy, Ming the Merciless. So go take a look at that if you want a little color reference. That's what inspired the original Mind Flayer. All right, so this terrible creature tears its way through you, but now we want to talk about how this illness manifests in actual effect on the character, something with like your stats. So what do we think being lit by an alien sun? What do we think your shadow going the wrong way? Like, what is the effect there? I have some thoughts right off the top of my head, which is, in a very real way, you are there now. So maybe like the gravity is wrong. Maybe the air is not as kind to your lungs. These are some things that I'm thinking of just kind of loosely.
I could see your skin beginning to burn off, and that's what makes the void come through in the next phase. Is that your skin has been burnt away by the alien sun. So in this phase, there'd be blisters and sunburn and, tears in flesh.
So that's... Okay. Oh, so I like that. So it progressed. So that also gives us a progression note, which I really like. So if we're going from one... Let me redraw my little chart then. I think that's a really good idea. So we go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. Stage 1, wrong shadow... Wrong shadow, wrong light, wrong shadow / light. I think that's great. And so then in the transition of that stage, it's like a terrible sunburn that's slowly like consuming your entire form. And I think a fun way to do it, because diseases want to work, is I think once the skin has burned to being black and depthless, I think it stops hurting. Because what that gives us is it gives us the impression that this disease has a will, has like something it wants, because it gives you the option where if you are like using salve, maybe you can stave this off by like applying burn ointment and things, but it makes it hurt worse. It makes it take longer. And so people will refuse the treatment because it's like, it just feels better to just let it crawl up your arms. I think that's cool. Pretty interesting. So sunburn. So what do you think the effects of that are? I could see loss to constitution. I could actually see loss to intelligence if we just say it's like constantly annoying. It makes it hard to focus.
Yeah.
Or we could attach it to, this is if you really wanted to be an asshole. Like it gives you weakness. It gives you like the opposite of DR. It gives you like weakness 4 to all damage. If you get hit, you take a couple extra points. You always take another D4 of harm because you have all of this like exposed, burnt skin. What do we think of some of those ideas?
I like the reverse damage resistance because of that faction game that's sort of cropping up a little bit, where that group that wants to kill the people who are sick are going to have a really easy time of it early on.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get as much footing as possible to kill those people before it progresses.
So how severe is that? Is it mild? Is it like 1 extra damage? Is it 1d4? If you want to be a real piece of shit, which I can sometimes recommend, you can say you take 1 more damage like per level that your character is. That way it is as dangerous for a level 20 character as a level 1 character because it's compounding, sort of adding damage. You have a couple of options like that. Or do we just want to keep it simple and say it's minus 1d4? This is really dangerous for commoners, for normal people, because it could turn a 1 harm incident into like a bad infection that leads to their death. You know what I mean? Something like that.
I think just an additional D4.
Any other effects that we want to kind of attach to that? Anything else that we think goes with that? Plus D4 is something immediate. What is something lingering, annoying, more in the background than, I take extra damage every time I take damage? What's something that's going to influence like their daily life? This is things like that wisdom loss. It's hard to pay attention. You're getting snippy. Is it intelligence loss? You can't stay focused because there's this constant heat and burning. Is it constitution loss because you're like literally you're getting sunburnt? You're in real life, you ever gotten a sunburn so bad you get sick because your entire immune system is busy trying to like peel your top layer of skin off? What did you think though? You had a thought.
I was thinking that instead of a decrease, maybe an increase to like dexterity or something. Just there's a little positive to it.
What's the logic there? Are you lighter or something?
Yeah, a little lighter. Your summer is making me like you're more sensitive to everything, so you're moving quicker.
Spencer, what were you thinking?
I was thinking a wisdom loss to make you go out into the community. Even knowing that you're sick, you're going out places and you're making other people sick. I thought that was fun for the virulent effect.
Do you see that
is this airborne?
Do you see this as like a mild? It's got to be airborne, at least a little bit, right? Otherwise, it's too easy to keep locked down.
Yeah,
fair.
It makes it really easy to avoid if it's just touch or blood based or something. You just don't, it makes it a little too easy to be like, oh, so we just need to lock the sick people in a house. Yeah, we can do that. That's not that hard. So are you imagining like -1 wisdom where it's enough to 10 to 9, it's kind of a big deal, but 18 to 17 is annoying? Or is it like you lose 5, you lose 2, you lose 4, where it's like, no, Tom cut loose last week. He went from a 10 wisdom to a 6. He's making some tomfoolery decisions.
I think -1 per day.
Oh, so you really cut loose.
You get degenerative the more voidy you get. So the more likely you are to make other people sick, the more you're going out because you're dumb.
I like that. Spencer's not projecting at all right now, by the way. There's no other event in recent history that Spencer is sort of putting on his mind.
No, I'm not referencing
it. It's not inspired. So now you are, you're Vanta Black. You are wreathed in shadow. What happens there? What's going on? And I have an idea. If we wanted to progress, like you were saying, if I could pitch a very creepy and grim one, can you see the thing coming? Does it start all black and then eventually you see a figure like slowly approaching and getting larger every day? And that's fun, because then when people are seeing it, if they see somebody and it's this like hulking, terrifying monster, the image of somebody being like dragged to the cliff by their invisible limbs, so all you're getting is this like smish and smash of it, but you can see a form that has taken up all of their body, that is all like teeth and eyes and fangs and dripping venom, and they're trying to like throw this dude off the cliff so that he doesn't turn the rest of the way, I think is interesting. But it's also a little hokey. Is it a little too, Flash Gordon, fucking John Carter, Prince of Mars?
I don't think so. I
don't think so.
think it's evocative a little bit. The images.
It's fun to get a heads up on like what you're going to be dealing with before the first monster shows up.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about it.
And it's something I've never heard of. I've like never seen before. It's not something I've ever heard of. And it's weird, but it's weird enough that you're like, are we back around? Because it's, oh, that's weird. That's a little too weird. Did we loop it? Remember, the comedy rule of threes. Something is really funny 3 times or 33 times. And that's the next time it's funny. All right. So I kind of like that. So what is the effect of being Vanta Black? And does this other stuff go away? Does your wisdom come back? Does your D4 of damage go away? Do you clear those symptoms and move to new symptoms?
Yeah. I think that now you are much more difficult to kill. So this would be like your constitution increases. You're a void. You're not really a person anymore. So your wisdom's back, your con goes way up.
Hear me out. I think you might have, if I could just put one on there, I would say you have resistance to all damage except force.
Yeah.
At this point you are outside, and force to me makes sense because force is can't like wall of force like that, you know what I mean? It's something a little weird and transcendentally.
It's ephemeral.
I do like that makes you kind of harder to kill. Do you also want to have it increase their constitution or HP, give that sort of additional element?
Yeah, I think so. And it makes sense because they need to be strong enough that the thing can come through them. If they're not strong enough, it can't go through.
So,
which also ties into some of the people will die instead of actually succeeding in the summoning.
Now, if we want to if I can get a little noodly about this, a commoner isn't going to gain that much HP from getting 1 extra con to even 5 extra con. Even going to 20 con wouldn't give them that much. Maybe they gain like a hit die per day.
Sure.
So they go from 1d4 plus 0 to 2d4 to 3d4 to 4d4 to 5d4. So on the last day, this is kind of grim, but that's the adventure, right? If they're trying to, the guards if this group you're talking about are trying to kill somebody that one of these creatures is going to crawl through, but they've caught them on the 6th day, I think they have to like hack them to pieces. Like, I think it's awful. I think it takes a long time. And I like the idea of it continues the trend that this disease is alive, that it wants to be spread, because it makes it unpleasant so that it's unpleasant, so that you won't do it. And it makes it's like, oh, why does the person still able to ambulate and like make choices? Wouldn't it be better if they just couldn't, if they were frozen? And it's like, no, because they don't want them to cut the portal in half. So it's still your friend so that it works. So that they're actually telling you to stop and try to find a cure instead of, whacking them and keeping it from coming to fruition.
Question.
This is a TVMA ass module right now, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Question. In the previous set, before their Venta, say it's just spread up to like past ankle bit. Could you chop that foot off and stop the spread?
I think the shadow's still going the wrong way.
Yeah, you have breathed in the void, and now your body is showing external signs of it. It doesn't spread that way. It's not, piece by piece.
I think it's a really cool scene if people have tried.
Mm.
But they need to remember, it's not coming from your body, it's coming from your shadow. And you still have a shadow. If you were just a head, you'd still have a shadow. You know, there's nothing you can do about that.
Do you think if they cut their leg off, does the shadow still have a leg?
Hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. I was going to say
it's more of a picture of you when you were first infected rather than following along with the reality.
Oh, that's gross.
Form.
Like a leg falls out of the void.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it would be skinless, like a flesh. Oh, that's pretty gross.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, let's run it.
And it's a fun bit for like the researcher character to be asking those questions because it helps you get to the bottom of what's going on. Because again, level 1 adventurers, all you know is people have blisters that are really bad and their shadows going the wrong way. You have to find all this shit out.
Yeah, it's that the skin that looks like it's blackening from being burnt continues until eventually it is. And then you notice that their shadow has been shrinking for a few days and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crawling up.
And I think an idea I like is I think as they progress, if you were to cut their leg off on day 1 of being Vanta Black, I think a skinless leg would fall out. I think if you do that on day 5, I think a like mostly skinless, mostly fleshless, like skeleton and tendons leg falls out. And I think if you were to do it hours before they transition, I think their foot bone would fall out and it would be like, oh, this is getting worse. This is getting so much worse. Yeah. That's super gross. I like that. Okay. So so now my question from there, we have this concept a little bit. We could start to look at the town. My next big question is, what can they do to make this not happen? Is there a guy they need to go stab? Is there a portal they need to shut? Like, before we start designing, this is a good place for us to stop so that I get an idea of the sort of scope of the adventure, right? In Curse of Strahd style, you go do a bunch of stuff to prepare to go fight the big guy at the end. And there's this large threat, so it would be, the Absolute from Baldur's Gate 3. It's Strahd from Curse of Strahd. It's the Storm King from Storm King's Thunder. It's Tiamat if you accidentally let her out and goof the whole thing. It's the Queen of Avernus. It's all of that. There tends to be one, but in theory, right, there does not need to be. It can just be the assembled forces of whatever this outside place is. Do we have an idea for a villain that we like? Is it because our villain could be one of these things, or it could be a cultist. There could be like an archon of whatever this outsider is. Options abound.
I'm big on cultist. I think that having a human element to interact with is pretty big. I think we can tie in James for this one with his recommendation on students discussing the corruption. I don't think that it's the improper use of magic. I think that the college within this city that this is taking place in has been doing experiments, probably at the behest of faculty or one specific member of faculty who is pushing for it. And that is where this all starts. Whether that's a portal to close or somebody who's casting consistently, whatever, something along those lines.
I'm really sorry. I have to make a terrible joke. Spencer, you saying this disease came from a lab?
It's coming straight from a lab from Wuhan, Faerun.
All right. So you like the idea that there is a cultist at the heart of this dark tale, right? There is some figure in a university, college that had somehow come under the thrall of this thing. Did it come under its thrall, or did they pull a classic we have done what we have discovered what no man should? There's some secrets men just aren't meant to know as they slam their fist into a table. Like, were they trying to make a bioweapon and they accidentally did this? Or was this person seduced by this dark power and has been brought in, over the course of many weeks and months and years, and now has a way to get it through?
If I can throw a pitch, I think it was it was a young wizard that was trying to learn more about like extraplanar travel and stuff like that, and they keyed into this one spot and it opened up a little bit, and they were enthralled by this.
I'm okay with that if they are like the second in command. They were like the underling that cracked the code rather than the main antagonist. I feel like it needs to be somebody pretty powerful at the university to produce roadblocks from research. Like for the party to go in and investigate.
So a student says, I've discovered something. I've been gazing through the planar crystals, and I have found a spot that is just dark. And I don't think there's anything there. And so there, everybody else hears that, and you know, whatever you may have thought, the student thought, I've found a place for us to like make a way station. Like, imagine if we could have a stable, safe, consistent, like locked magic circle in this far distant place that we can see, that we can get to. I found the coordinates that you need to, you know, get there via powerful teleportation, you know, plane shift or what have you. And it's right here, and I can get you there. And then some, you know, and then Cesariax, the snake man, comes in, and he's got on green robes, and he's like, let me use your research, I'll tell them everything, and then drives a dagger in his back or something, you know, and we can find, maybe the student's alive, and you can find them, and they'll tell you about what they saw, but you're actually dealing with definitely not Iago in the background.
Yeah.
I'm too, just Lady Macbeth washing her hands in a sink in the back room, I think is really good. So, so you have a student who found a dark corner, and assumed it was empty, assumed it was free real estate.
And that student is a friendly character that you can talk to, who's like they'll say the people who are Vanta Black look like the void I was looking into. This is obviously connected. And that gives you the lead into investigating the university.
Okay, I like it. I think we're headed in a good direction here. So we have this student figure, and then we have the person who took over the project, the person who saw the application. So what happens? So is the student can't be dead, so they cannot have been infected when they opened the portal. So let's say they opened the portal under lab conditions. There is some equivalent of magical lab conditions, right? So who is this person that saw it, and how did they know what it was going to be? Like, did a creature claw through? Was there a squirrel in the tank that started to get burned and like turned to void or whatever? Or did they immediately know what it was? Is it just that they are a much more powerful and intelligent wizard, studied it, did some scrying divination shit, and then took it over as like a weapons project? And then
I think that.
And then is it a weapons project or is it a cult project?
I think that it's just a much more powerful wizard. This is somebody who's very high up at the institution, who is like, yeah, this kid found something really cool. He has no idea what he's doing with it. I know what to do with it.
And it's easy as
and then fucks it up.
It's the student's like advisor.
Yeah.
It's just like much more powerful. They show them their findings, and then the student can just be like, my advisor came in, they saw what I did, they said it was very impressive, and I was released from the university's care. I haven't been allowed inside since, and they didn't let me take any of my notes. I have no proof that this is even I have no proof I ever attended the school. Like, you know, they didn't give me anything back. It's like I never existed. And then assassins try to kill that kid on day 2 of whatever the adventure is. And so now we're left with this person. Now, is this person just like an opportunist? Do we just want to make them like the statistics wizard or some shit? Like, or is it, you know, War Mage Custer, you know, the controversial appointment of War Mage Custer has sent ripples through the nearby communities. The fact that maybe some like, because to me it's either a disgruntled and discarded, like a discharged military wizard who was sent off for unethical experiments, has been like shepherded here as a cushy golden parachute, or it's the stage, it's the fourth circle divination professor, and they just immediately got drunk on power, and it just, is bad luck of the draw. Whoever did this turned out to be kind of a narcissistic egomaniac who is like, we can use it. So that's the two angles I could see there. Is it, this kind of disgraced figure, or this very powerful, very evil figure, or is it just the next greedy bitch that came through?
I think very powerful, and just succumb to the whispering of the void. Probably lost their mind through the divination magic they were using to see into it so much. They began being spoken to by this, elder evil, whatever we want to call it. And so is now a cultist, but really has lost their mind.
So my big schools of magic here, for me, feel free to disagree, would be divination, conjuration, abjuration. Divination, because gazing through portals, but in combat, divination's a little tough. Conjuration, because summoning things from the outside world. In combat, extremely tough. And option 3 is abjuration. This is somebody, basically the wizard that is in charge of this was like the containment was their thing. Like, they brought it to the attention of everybody else, and they were like, we can use this, and I think I can contain it. And that was their, fatal flaw, catharsis style that fucked them. The conjuration wizards, I think I can control it. The divination wizard is, I've heard too much. The abjuration wizard is, I think I can capture it. I think I can keep us safe. And whichever one it is, they are lulled in, seduced by the power, and fail finally in their upholding, and that's how it gets out. Do we have an angle there we like better? Divination, to me, is the most like logical narratively, but it's the least combat capable, unless we really imagine this person as a like controller, to use 4E terms, who is, debuffing the party, buffing their bad guys, and doesn't do a lot of damage.
I think abjuration is fun. I like that this was the, high wizard that was there when the student was doing the experiments, saying like, yep, I'm going to keep you safe from this. That's why the student wasn't ensickened initially. That wizard was there, but now the wizard was running more and more experiments, and the walls came down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Now he's gone.
My vote's for abjuration also. I think we can make him a little narcissistic. I can control this.
Yeah.
I can use this.
I can keep
something
us
like
safe.
that.
I can bind this thing with abjuration. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I love the image of you being able to have students and people describe like late into the night, because he needs to be sort of seduced by this. They see him like out in the grounds with a little pool of that inky black in like a little force orb, and he's just listening to it like late into the night, because he's so confident, and he keeps bringing out larger and larger chunks to try to commune with and speak to, and he's clearly wrapped up in this thought that whatever this thing is, I can learn about it, I can defend us, I can keep this thing locked up. And then at a certain point, when he lets enough of it through at one time, it just steps through his abjuration as if it was never there. I think that's very cool. And then he's in classic Cthulhu cultist mode, where he's like, well, I work for this thing now. Why? 'Cause we're fucked? 'Cause I might be its favorite pet, and it might not make a monster burst through my chest real nasty. That's what I want. It sounds awesome to me. All right, so kind of a classic. I like how our main bad guy is the bad guy from every Alien movie.
Yeah.
I can contain it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Commune with chaos, and bend the knee. Reminds me of the I can't. It's a big spoiler. I can't. It's a spoiler for Call of Cthulhu. This giant Call of Cthulhu adventure called Masks of Nyarlathotep. It's like the most well-reviewed adventure in history. It comes in 2 unfathomably titanic books, and I don't want to spoil it. I don't know. Go watch Time for Chaos. Time for Chaos is playing it. Go watch Time for Chaos. Or somebody else out there is running Masks. Run it yourself. Go buy it. Check out Chaosium. The shit rules. Okay, so this abjurative character is sort of pulled in, and I like that because it means when we finally are encountering them in a fight, right, they have this very cool range of abilities. They're making shields, they're blocking people in. I think Force Cage and stuff like that is all abjuration as well. Very good isolation kind of stuff. A lot of force damage, right? Creating a spear of, this unpassable force and then throwing it at the players. Very fun stuff. Spencer's trying to figure out when he can sneak just a quick bite. I've been watching him get into position bit by bit.
I think it'd be fun.
Oh yeah, right into the get that juicy right into the mic, brother. Hell yeah. All right, Michael, what's up?
It just think fight wise, it could be nice. I don't think it happens too often, but I think with an abjuration wizard, it could be fun. A lot of fights is like it's 5 people against this one monster. With abjuration, it could be cool to have a fight where it's blocking on. Like, no, it's 1v1 in this room because you're blocked off from your teammates.
A lot of isolation is really fun, trying to cut off the cleric and things. Just make sure that person always has something to do. Always give them something to fight. Never have them just sit in there for 3 rounds.
Oh god, yeah.
I maintain, controversial statement, they should take the paralysis condition out of the game. It's not fun. There's nothing fun. The fact that stun and paralysis are still in Dungeons and Dragons is crazy to me. It's, hey, you're not allowed to have fun for the next hour. Congratulations. You've unlocked the secret, really shitty ending where you're not allowed to play. That's what it is. It's, I cast, play game! And the person has to pack their fucking dice up. It'd be like if there was a card in Wingspan that was like, put your cards back in the deck, idiot, go home.
It's fucking mono blue control deck, Magic the Gathering.
Oh god, get out of here. Yeah, exactly. All right, so this wizard demands they bend the knee. They demand this wizard bend the knee. They do so. They start, breaking holes in reality. I like the idea, another throwaway line that somebody would say in my campaign of this. But how can they do this? They are no great master of conjuration. They are an abjuration wizard. And he's like, I fear not the man that can summon forth. I fear the man who holds the keys. Right? The abjuration wizard knows what separates us from these creatures and is equipped to break those things, right? They know it's there. They know what wire to cut in the alarm system for the bank. You know what I mean? All right. So now we need to kind of start figuring out what the creatures that this thing can summon, right, that are coming forth. What are these creatures like, right? What do they look like? Now, we saying that they come from... Spencer ran off.
Yeah.
We're saying that they come from this, realm of eternal night. This, void, perfect void in the... planes. I mean, so what do they look like? I was imagining them as being kind of classic teeth and eyes and rotten flesh kind of thing, but are they what does a creature born of nothingness look like?
See, the first thought is had them be eventable. I think I don't want them to be shadow creatures though.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out, so what are they? Spencer, the debate is simple. These creatures emerge from this Vanta Black void of realm space. What the hell are they? What do they look like when they get here? I was picturing classic teeth and eyes and mouths and gnashing teeth. Michael has just said he doesn't want to just do shadow monsters. We've done a lot of... Those of you who are watching new don't know how much shadow monster shit we have done in the past. We did a long run on Nowhere, Mother of Shadows, who came up 5 times over the course of the next year in different adventures and stuff.
Something fun we could do. We saw Opposite Day a little bit before. Have them opposite shows. Have them be I think we keep the teeth and maws and jaggedness, but like crystal creatures almost. Uh, like not the shapes and stuff don't quite make sense. It's almost like an elemental.
Where are we? What is these? Is it the Hounds of Tindalos? Somebody get in the comments.
Those are the glass dogs.
Yeah, get in the comments.
Tindalos, let us know if we're referencing you right.
A word for the record. I don't think I've ever spelled. Yeah, the Hounds of Tindalos are. They're not always shown as such. Aren't they like crystalline and they crawl through the corners of reality, or is it that the corners of reality are crystalline? Let's take a look. First appeared in the Hounds of Tindalos, a Frank Belknap long joint, which is one of the other writers kind of working in the same space. Many of whom's work I would recommend far more strongly than Mr. Lovecraft's, for the record. A lot of the favorite inventions of his are, in fact, made by other people that sort of get associated.
While you're doing that, something else that weird. Do either of you know about the glass frog? It's a real frog in our real world.
No.
So it's it's a frog. It's the bottom of it, its belly literally is translucent. You can see its organs and everything moving and such. It's super weird and kind of gross. But with crystalline creatures, we could have something like that too. You can see its organs moving and working. To keep it horror-esque.
For the record, so it's humans are the beings of the curves. The hounds are those things that inhabit the angles of time. And they are described as emerging in any corner that is sharp 100 degrees, 120 degrees or less. And they are never described. They are only described as horrifying, and there is apparently some kind of blue pus factor. So, they leave some kind of terrible goo behind, but that's all we really know about the Hounds of Tindalos. So, we have the idea that maybe they're these kind of geodesic beings of light. I think that that's a little bit fun. If we understand that what is burning them is the previous person, is this like refractive light coming off of this figure. Maybe it isn't the sun. Maybe it's these creatures that burn them. I think that's interesting. Do we have any other thoughts warping around? My first thought was like, some Vanta Black nonsense. My second thought was, if you take roughly one guy worth of stuff and you mix it up real different, you get this thing. Like if you take if a character rolls like a DC 25 medicine check, you'll be like, that is not, Francois, but it is what made up Francois, bent and cut and stitched back together in a shape another mind conceived, is my other thought. That might be a little too weird. I'll be upfront. It's also the plot of Dead Space. Never mind. I take it back. I just remembered Dead Space.
I like crystalline beings of light because the, alien world sun thing we've already established via the blisters and burns. Having these creatures be creatures that work within that alien sun makes sense. They don't get burned by it, obviously.
So what are these creatures like when you interact with them? So they aren't illuminated anymore. So as they approach you from the inside of the void, they are bright. These like brightly illuminated things. And I like that idea. I like the idea that the light that casts out of them is like illuminating the space in front of this person is a walking lighthouse, so they can't even hide very well. I think is a fun effect. And when they step through, that light goes away and they are now lit by the sun of this place. I think that's cool. What's it like to fight one? And are there kinds? Are they all the same? Are they drones and they always look the same, or sometimes are they different shapes that emerge?
I see there being different ones. Having your quick agile ones, having your tank ones, having stuff like that.
But the question is, what determines what comes out where and when? If there's different types, is it just random?
The person's constitution.
Which it could be. The bigger the dude or dudette, the more tanky the creature.
My fun weird one would be it's based on their highest stat. Not their constitution, just their highest stat is the thing that like breaches. So anybody with like a 20 in one of their stats has the force to bring a great creature through, but any commoner that's all 10s is going to get the drone, like a crystal spider thing.
Yeah.
I think that's fun because with an illness, the poor get hit first, so you're dealing with a bunch of non-heroes. And then once you get past that first couple levels of adventuring, then you find like, oh, the great cleric of the town, fell sick and was away from his belongings or whatever, and so wasn't able to heal himself properly, and now is going to summon forth this crazy star spawn.
Yeah, that's super fun. You get different stuff too. Like, the first one you get is like the mayor of this town. He was super likable. He had a high what stats that charisma. Yeah, super high charisma, and you get this almost charismatic crystalline creature.
I have to be honest, I got deeply distracted in a very funny way. Michael said the mayor of this town, and my brain went to Les Mis, and I am the mayor of this town. Like, immediately, I don't know why. I was talking about Les Mis with a student today because they were describing what the plot of their monologue was going to be, and I was like, hey man, that's fucking Les Mis. They did that. Did you think the professor in your theater class didn't know about fucking Les Mis, bro? Hey man, I don't know what to tell you.
Deep cut.
That's not exactly a deep cut, yeah. All right, so it's based on their highest stat, and the mayor of town has a high charisma, and so represents this greatest threat. I like the idea that, these commoners are the image of somebody walking down the street, and the street is like incandescent with light from these many people and these creatures that you can see approaching. I think is really weird. It's so weird. I wonder, I'm gonna be honest, I think it's weird enough that it wouldn't sell as well as if it was less weird, but I'm not here to make something that sells well. I'm here to make something fucking weird.
Yeah, something cool.
So I kind of like that idea that these people are hard to hide, so they're often being hidden inside. You know what I mean? They need to be like wrapped up in blankets all the time so that they don't just project light out of their bodies. I think that's all really interesting. Mm-hmm. So that means we have a couple of these things. What are they like to fight? Do they swarm in terrible groups and like scatter over the landscape as they approach and then multiply while they're here? Are they coordinated, or do these glass creatures have leaders and some kind of structure and some kind of legion breakdown where they will like move in formation and pair off quickly into groups? Are they a full like invasion force that seems trained for it? Or are they full like Bizarro, they're doing things that make no sense to us but make sense to something, like they all start attacking a random building and for some reason that sort of messes with how things work?
I think, again, with the phase idea, early phase, they're forming in packs, so you're still dealing with like 3 to 10 at a time after the first encounter where you're fighting one, obviously. But the bigger threat arises when the mayor, who's been hiding his illness, turns, because then they have a leader. So those packs conglomerate and are then being sent to do things that in a typical plague environment wouldn't come up. Like, now the clerics are being hunted, unilaterally killed. They're being hunted so that way the sickness can spread without stop.
So is it that the more of them there are, the smarter they get? Or is it a little bit more like mono drone, duo drone, where the mono drones just wait until a duo drone arrives to give them commands?
It's monodrome duodrome. It's just the duodrome.
You really took a stab at that one, huh? You
Monodrome.
you said mondodome dunodrome. I was like, fuck yeah,
That's
man,
what
hell
they
yeah,
are now.
that rules. Spencer,
The
they should have
monodome.
named him that. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, they are just doing animalistic acts of brutality until Lieutenant shows up.
And now, what do they do with people? Can these things multiply once they're here? Can they like slowly spread and scatter and like begin to split into more and more? Or do they never kill anyone? Right? Because if their only way through is through mortal creatures, they wouldn't kill anybody ever, right? They would always capture.
I think that they're more in it for resources. Maybe they're trying to get the materials that we have.
It's a little plain for an aberration, though, that they just like want iron. Like, what do the crystal creatures from Tarthax 5 need with water? You know, like what here do they need? Although it would be fun.
They need blood.
It would be a very cool, like, 1960s sci-fi twist at the end to be like, their glass needed carbon to stay stable, so they had to come in. Like, it's a very War of the Worlds ass sort of angle to take. Ooh.
Let's see.
Did one of your dogs, like,
I'm
eat
back.
part of the counter or something?
No, that was just a quick pit stop with the wave.
Anytime I see you lean, I assume that
I'm
Benny
yelling
has...
at the dogs.
I assume that Benny has eaten a faucet. And you're just like, how? How did you do that? And Benny's just like, what?
Yeah. No, Benny's really chill right now because I'm eating. So he sits like a statue. He's
like,
waiting.
Sorry, I'm just
Noodle,
being
on the other
so
hand,
good. Just
has
being...
been banned from like our back storage area because there's a bunch of junk back that she shouldn't get into. And she hates that. So she just like knocks at the door and cries. She's about to do it again. In about 5 seconds, she's gonna start crying. So, yep, she cried. So that's sort of the current situation in my space.
So what? So let's jump in here.
They want everyone's teeth.
Yeah, like, do they want to make more? Do they want to take the planet? Do they want to spread? What are they doing? Because my question becomes, when would they ever kill a person? Because if what they want to do is take the planet, then do they never kill people except for like clerics that can get rid of diseases? Does everybody get captured and like left? Or are they doing something else and they just start like massacring people, and from the blood of those people more of these things emerge? Like they either need to have a way to multiply or they need to keep people alive.
I think that they are very werewolf-esque. And if they injure and or kill somebody, they create a portal. Probably faster than just the airborne illness.
So if you get injured, you basically catch the disease, and if they kill you, you immediately we watch your body burn and move to stage 3, and another thing crawls through your chest. That makes something true that I'm not against, but is a big choice. That tells me you can't bring a player back if they die in this module.
Which is fun. It's a dark plague adventure. I think that it makes sense.
Okay.
And the crystal creature that comes from a player is going to be insane.
Oh my god. There's already we'd have to have a stat block prepared where it's like, yeah, your character dies, this is what comes out.
Yeah, I think there's like, you have 1 minute to bring a person back, maybe. Or are we saying no completely?
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it taking a minute or a couple of rounds.
As the body burns away.
Yeah. Where like you're watching it consume them very, very quickly. My favorite thing to do in this situation is to either have it take a number of rounds equal to something, or to have the player roll a die, because it's very fun to say roll 1d6. That's how many rounds they have to get you back up. to get you not dead anymore, or it's your Constitution score divided by 2, and it maxes out at 10, and it's, because 10 rounds is infinity time. 10 rounds is longer than any combat has ever been, unless your DM doesn't know when to quit. It's like, 3 to 7 rounds. It's just that those rounds all take 40 minutes. So I could go either way there.
I think roll a d6, don't tell the other players, because then the cleric is like, I better do it now. I like it being blind.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
The creature, the base creatures, the monos. Thought, can they be resistant to slashing, piercing, but take extra damage from blunt damage?
Yeah.
Or blunt.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Just having them naturally be sort of reliant on the crystalline glass.
That doesn't have to be true further on to the graders. It could be fun, the reveal that they aren't they're not double damage to blunt as the barbarian swings his club.
And I always love the thought that you have to pay for your resistances. Right? You don't get to just have a resistance. I hate this in Dungeons and Dragons. You don't get to just have a resistance. I think the rule should be you have to pay for your resistance with a vulnerability. If you want to be resistant to fire, you got to be vulnerable to something. Cut me off a slice, man. You've got to be poorly defended against the other thing. I think that this should be true for all dragons. I think the dragons should have a big rock paper scissors chart.
Yeah.
Of red dragons are weak to cold damage, cold dragons are weak to fire damage, light blue dragons are weak to poison damage. I just think it would be more fun.
You're describing Pokemon.
Yeah, but that's how it should work. It makes sense because it justifies a lot about why dragons don't all just team up or kill each other. How do this delicate power balance survives? And it's that dragons are afraid of exactly one thing, and it's other fucking dragons. That gives them a good reason to be like, I'm not messing with any of those dudes.
And it's fun when the thing that they're weak against is the thing that they're strong against offensively versus defensively. Cold versus fire. They'll both do double damage to each other.
So
that sucks.
Red and white.
You don't want to do that.
Red and white dragons will light each other the fuck up. Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's good old fashioned family fun. All right, so this thing is resistant to piercing and slashing damage. It's vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. When the party figures that out, they can arm the locals. They can be like, fetch your clubs and clogs, citizens. I think that's all great. So now my question becomes, what the hell? And we're going to answer it next time, because it's 9. Thank you all so much for watching. The question we're going to answer next time is, what the hell do you do? What do you do about this? What do you mean? What's the module? What's the fucking quest here? Now, granted, we're doing modules, so we're not trying to write one of these. We're trying to write Ravenloft. We're trying to write a tight, 80-page, get up and go. So I know in the end, we're going to have a real, Call of Cthulhu-ass confrontation in the library of the university, which I'm very excited for. The guy's going to have on a headpiece and crazy swords. It's going to be great. But we need to figure out what the hell are we doing to do anything else? What are we up to? Are we stopping lieutenants? Are there lieutenants? Is it this infection is spreading and you're trying to figure it out? Is it a mystery where your players are supposed to discover that it's a disease, that the mayor is sick, and slowly find out what's happening, in which case the mystery is the point? In which case, this module is going to be 90 pages, because, boys, we got to start writing clues right fucking now. If you're doing a mystery, Spencer can attest, you put in 600 clues, and the players find 9. And that's how that goes. That's another DM Writer's Room tip for you. If there's a mystery you want your players to solve, give them 20 clues, and then watch as they're like, I can't believe we found all 5 of your clues, you dullard. And you're like, you're right. You guys you did it. You really sniffed them out on me. Good job.
You showed me.
All right. Well, with that being what it is, thank you so much for watching DM Writer's Room, the show where we demystify the DMing process by coming up with things live. Thank you all so much for watching. We will catch you on the next one. Peace out.